In this video, we're going to look at some practice with order of operations and decimals. So take a moment and copy these three questions down. After you've copied them down, pause the video, work out the answer to each of these questions, and then resume the video where you can see the answers and the full solutions. Now be careful of this third one because it's a little tricky. There's two sets of brackets here, so I'll give you a little bit of a hint. You want to work out this bracket on the inside first. Okay, so we have in question 1, 2.5 times 3.8 minus 1.75. So here we have 3.8 times 2.5. So I start with the 5 then. 5 times 8 is 40. I write down the 0 and carry the 4. 3 times 5 is 15, plus 4 is 19. And then 2 times 8, after I add my 0, 2 times 8 is 16, so I write down the 6 and carry the 1. And 2 times 3 is 6, plus 1 is 7. And now I add down 0. 9 plus 6 is 15, so I write the 5 and carry the 1. And 7 plus 1 is 8, plus the 1 I carried is 9. And now I have two decimal places in the question, and so I need 2 decimal places in the answer. So now I've got 9.5 minus 1.75. And so now, if I have 9.5 minus 1.75, I can just do that right here. And I can see here that I'm not going to be able to subtract 0 and 5. I'm going to have to borrow. I'm not going to be able to subtract 5 from 7 either. So what I'm going to do here, which I haven't done before, is I'm going to borrow right from the 9 all the way across this 9.5. The 9 becomes an 8, and the 5 becomes a 15. But then I'm going to borrow 1 from the 15 and make it a 14, and give it to the 10. So the 9 becomes 8, then I borrow 1 over, it becomes 15. I borrow 1 yet again, it becomes 14, and then I can bring 10 to my last column. It'll be the same whether you do it one column at a time. It's just a little bit neater this way. So now 10 minus 5 is 5, and 14 minus 7 is 7, and 8 minus 1 is 7. So I get 9.5 minus 1.75 is 7.75. In this next problem, we have to worry about doing these brackets first. And then we'll do our order of operations, multiplication, division, then addition, subtraction, from left to right. So 3.1 plus 4.5, I just line up my decimals, remember, and add vertically down. 5 plus 1 is 6, and 3 plus 4 is 7. So 3 plus 0.1 plus 4.5 is 7.6. And now 7.6 times 2.1. One times 6 is 6, and 1 times 7 is 7. I go to my next line, and I put a 0 placeholder. And now 2 times 6 is 12, so I write the 2 and carry the 1. And 2 times 7 is 14, plus the 1 I carried is 15. And now we add down. 6 plus 0 is 6, 7 plus 2 is 9, and here is my 15. And I have 2 decimal places, so you can do it like this too if you like. You have 2 decimal places in your question, so you need to have 2 decimal places here in your answer. And 15.96 is the result when 7.6 is multiplied by 2.1. So now 15.96 divided by 2.5. And I'll leave a spot for my answer here. And I'll do this division right underneath. Remember, I'm not going to use 2.5, I'm going to use 25. And instead of using 15.96, I'm going to use 159.6. Make sure you write your decimal right above. And now we need to know how many times 25 goes into 159. So 25 will go into 159 6 times. And I'll just draw the lines for my first one here. 6 times 25 is 150, and 150 carried down here. And now I subtract. 159 minus 150 is 9. And notice again that this number is smaller than this number, so I know I've chosen the right number on top here. And so now we carry down the 6. 25 goes into 96 3 times. 3 times 25 is 75. I write my result underneath and then subtract. And 6 minus 5 is 1, and 9 minus 7 is 2. And now I carry down my next digit. 25 goes evenly into 210 8 times, and 8 times 25 is 200, and I write that result below. And now I subtract, and 210 minus 200 is 100, is 10, and then I carry down my 0 to give me 100. And now 100 divided by 25, or how many times does 25 go into 100? And that is 4. 4 times 25 is 100. I write my result down below, and then I subtract. And you can see that I'm done because I now have a 0 remainder. So the answer to this problem is 6.384. And the last problem, I now have a double set of brackets. So if I have a double set of brackets, I have to make sure that I do the inside bracket first. So 7.8 minus 3.1, 8 minus 1 is 7, and 7 minus 3 is 4. So this will turn into 4.7. And I've got 4.2 plus 3 times 4.7, and those are all still in big brackets and then divided by 6.1. So when you have two sets of brackets, it's really important to work inside out. So I did this first, and that got rid of my inside set of brackets, and now I have to look within this set of brackets and follow my order of operations. So I know I need to figure out what 3 times 4.7 is, because that's the one that I've got to do first. I'll just leave a blank where that is. And I'm going to now on the side figure out what 3 times 4.7 is. So 3 times 7 is 21. I write the 1 and carry the 2. And 3 times 4 is 12. 12 plus 2 is 14. And there's one decimal in my question, so I make sure that I have one digit to the right of my decimal in my answer. And this works out to be then 14.1. And now I have to finish off my brackets, so I have 14.1, and I have to add 4.2 to that. So now let me get rid of this extra little line there. 14.1 plus 4.2, I make sure my decimals are all in a line. 2 plus 1 is 3, 4 plus 4 is 8, and 1 plus 0 is 1. So I get that this bracket is now 18.3, and I have divided now by 6.1. So again, I'm going to leave a spot for my answer here, and instead of dividing 6.1, I'm going to make it 61, and instead of 18.3, I'm going to make it 183. I add some zeros and see what happens. And 6 goes into 18, if I just look at these first two, 3 times. So I'm going to try 3 and see what happens. And 61 times 3, 1 times 3 is 3, nothing to carry, and 6 times 3 is 18. So 3 times 61 is 183. Oh, and look at that. Now when I subtract, look at how quickly I get a nice 0 there. So the answer to this would be 3.0, or just 3. So that last one was a little bit tough, but there was 2 sets of brackets, and you had to do all of the operations with the decimals. The answer in the end turned out to be nice, but if you got that one right, then you really understand your order of operations and decimals.